Hi, welcome back to Real Auto Reports. I'm Jonathan McGrew, and today we have the 2013 all-new Nissan Pathfinder. This is your Platinum Edition, very much the top of the line, and it has a lot of really cool features that we're going to go in depth on, so join us as we jump in the driver's seat and get going. Hi, so welcome back. As I said, we are in the 2013 Nissan Pathfinder, and this is the completely new and redesigned one, as I keep mentioning. Now, what's really interesting about this redesign is the styling. The styling is a lot more akin to the other vehicles on the market, kind of like your, Toyota Highlander. And I say that because it's another Japanese vehicle that's very popular. The Toyotas are a very popular vehicle, and the Pathfinder is now seemingly emulating that design language a little bit. So we're going to go in detail here and give you the in-depth review on this Pathfinder. This is the Platinum. It does have the four-wheel drive system, so the all-mode 4x4i, and a lot of other neat features. So let's check it out. All right, so one of the things that is really interesting about all these new SUVs is really what they have in them, all these features. And in this car, we have the 3.5 liter V6 engine that has 260 horsepower, so that's a nice feature. We have navigation, we have satellite radio, the electronic tilt and telescopic wheel here, which does do the move out of your way when you get out of the car when you turn it off. So that's nice. You have the keyless entry and indeed the more smart keys so that you can just hit the start button here. Basically what I'm saying is that Nissan and this all-new Pathfinder have really stepped up the game for this car. Now, at over $44,000 as tested, yes, that's the MSRP, so you might get one a little cheaper if you go negotiate, but that's what the manufacturer's suggested retail price is. $44,395 for this vehicle is tested. We have the almond interior with the leather seated trim. The outside of this car is Arctic blue metallic, so it's a nice dark metallic blue. It really gives a nice presence out on the road, and it's a nice drive-up appeal. But all of that does come with that big sticker, and what are you getting? Well, in today's day and age, technology is king. Not so much even power to some degree, it's really technology. And I think they've really done it justice in this Pathfinder. So we're going to go into some more detail here about the type of technology that they have in this. And there's some things missing, I think, at this price point, but also a lot of value that they have incorporated. One of the big things about the interior as you look around the interior is you have the Altima-styled gauge, so in the front end is very Altima-ish, so you can see the design language. You do have the same kind of center computer cluster as the Altima, and then looking around the car, you'll find that everything is very similar to the way Nissan has been designing their interfaces here for the last several years. I mean, all the way back to the way this dial works for the entertainment system goes back to the Infinities and the Nissan Maxima that released itself in 2009 as an all-new model. And so they've kept this usability. It's going to be very intuitive and familiar if you're used to the Nissan brand. The thing that does take a little getting used to is that it is still a touchscreen and a dial, so you can do things multiple ways. You can do things from the steering wheel here. And, it's just one of those things where make sure you get the training from the dealer and you read the manual, because this car probably does more than you think it can. Some other features that are nice is that this Pathfinder has the heated and cooled seats right up here in the front center console here. You've got your automatic transmission, which is a CVT, and then your 4x4i four-wheel drive system, which means you can select it to be just two-wheel drive, which is the mode I'm driving in right now. You can go to auto, or you can go all the way down to the lock mode, which is going to simulate your, or basically be your four-low mode and really get you out of tough situations. One of the things that's I guess, ironic about how the designs have gone is that Nissan used to be very rugged, boxy-looking vehicles. I mean, the Xterra has been very popular as an off-road edition, and the Pathfinder continued its kind of boxy lineage all the way from the first Pathfinder that we saw in the early 90s. Now it has gotten more curvy, more shapely, and I think it's really more of an urban play for Nissan, because this car really does have that drive-up appeal that I don't think it had before. It was more of a rugged appeal. And I think that's going to polarize people as you look at this car and you decide whether it's right for your family. This is not the Pathfinder you would have bought in the last generation. So 2013 is very different. Now, it also has a lot of really good features because you've got the 7-passenger option. This one specifically does. And what's nice is the second row will scoot forwards and backwards so you can give your third passengers more room. You can also tilt or recline the rear second row, so that's nice. It gives you a lot of flexibility and comfort for your passengers. And we have to mention, because it's becoming quite the fad these days, the rear second row heated seats. And that is great for places like here in Colorado. I mean, it's getting a lot warmer here now, but the heated seats are a nice option, especially when the temperature dips down into the colder regions. And then you have your heated and cooled seats up front here for the front passengers. So even in the summer, if you're driving this as a daily driver, you can keep yourself cool. Now, some things that I noticed on this vehicle at a little over $44,000 that it doesn't have is you don't have power folding mirrors, which is kind of interesting. This vehicle also does not have blind spot monitoring, so you don't have a sense that there's somebody in your blind spot in this vehicle, as tested anyway. But you do have a heated steering wheel, so you can see that Nissan has really sort of picked and choose the options that they feel are going to be of value to a person buying this vehicle. And I think this is a family-oriented vehicle that has a lot of emphasis on comfort and on technology, but not necessarily maybe that safety technology that you might be expecting. Now, that's not to say it's not you can't get it, but on this package we're buying, for $44,000, we kind of would expect some of that blind spot monitoring, lane departure stuff to be on this vehicle as standard. But it does have traction control and the advanced four-wheel drive system, so you're definitely not going to feel uncomfortable. You're just going to have to watch yourself out on changing lanes and stuff, because this vehicle, as opposed to the previous generation Pathfinder, is a lot larger. Now, on that bend, you do have the camera system. If you're familiar with Infinity's, the around view camera on this vehicle is going to be very similar. 2 of the cameras are mounted under the mirrors here. You've got a front and a rear camera. And indeed, you have some really cool features that give you that overview 360-degree view, so when you are parking, you can see the rear backup camera. And if you hit the camera button when you're going slow enough in drive, it'll even show you the front, which is excellent for parking near walls or in parking lots where you're not sure where the front end is. And because of how this vehicle's shaped, it's hard for even someone of my height, a little bit over 6 foot, to really tell at first where the front end of this vehicle is. So the camera really does give you a lot more assurance. A review wouldn't be complete without a little discussion of miles per gallon, and we know that that is on everybody's mind, especially when fuel prices continue to kind of ping pong around and they're getting more expensive at this current date. So you're looking at 19 to 25 miles per gallon, so 19 city, 25 highway in this particular model. That's going to be an EPA rated about 21 miles combined. 260 horsepower out of a CVT transmission, which means when I step on it like this, it winds up, but it never really, shall we say, shifts. It is just winds up and all of a sudden you feel the power come on strong. Great when we drove this to the mountains because it is a nice, smooth, comfortable ride. Even when you need that power to get up a really steep grade, it just winds that that RPM gauge around, and all of a sudden you feel this smooth application of power. And if you remember the original commercials from the CVT, it was the wife putting on her lipstick as the husband was accelerating really hard, and she was pausing, waiting for the shift. That is what this is all about. Comfort is the name of the game in the new Pathfinder, and I think they really have achieved it. Don't try to drive this car as a sports car, and we'll cover that in a second. All right, so driving is it's kind of one of those things, everybody's got their own opinion. I think the steering in this vehicle is fantastic. It feels good. It feels, you feel assured in this vehicle. But this vehicle is large, and it does have a 5,000-pound towing capacity, so you know it's got some oomph to it, both under the hood and in the chassis. That also means that this vehicle is not really built to be a sports SUV. It is built to be comfortable, I think a people mover, and to be an urban vehicle most of the time with the ability to go off-road when you're out with the family and you want to go camping and you want to do all of those things that life brings to you. But maybe not necessarily driving a Jeep every day with a really rugged suspension. So it's going to feel a little lumbering in the corners. It is a big vehicle, and you're going to want to drive it accordingly. It's not that it won't handle the corners. It does emergency evasive maneuvers pretty well for the vehicle of its size, and we've tested that, but it definitely is not your sports SUV. So if you're looking for that kind of BMW X5 performance, that's not going to be this car. So make sure that you give it a test drive, you drive it the way you drive your car today or the way you intend to drive, and that'll give you a really good sense of whether it fits you specifically. I think as an in-town commuter, it's pretty good. So that's the real video, the real review of the 2013 Nissan Pathfinder. This vehicle is all new from Nissan for 2013, and if you haven't seen one before, you might not have realized it was the Pathfinder. Gone are the days of the boxy Pathfinder, now to the sleek and svelte, curvy Pathfinder that we have here today that competes with vehicles like the Toyota Highlander. It is a new design language, you could say. And for right about $44,000, this vehicle comes equipped with a lot of cool features like the rear DVD entertainment system, rear second row heated seats, which is great for your passengers in the winter. And for the front seat passengers, you have air-cooled seats on both sides in this package. This is the Platinum model, so you'll be at the upper end of the range, but with that you get all the fun and cool stuff that Nissan has to offer, including you've got to check out that rear panoramic sunroof for the rear passengers, including the front sunroof that's separate that opens for the front passengers. It is a neat vehicle, although very different from the previous generation, so you're probably either going to love it or hate it. And we want you to let us know right here on our YouTube channel. Leave us a comment and tell us what you think about this 2013. For Real Auto Reports, I'm Jonathan McGrew. We'll have more videos coming up shortly, so stay tuned. We'll see you down the road.